Good morning, Earthlings. How are you today? Josh Poet with you for another round of First Contact information. Starting things off on our dream spell. Let's jump to that. The dream spell is the 13 moon calendar for those of you who are just tuning in. Let's get over there. Okay. Every day in the dream spell calendar, the day has a different name, specific to a cycle of the moon and a cycle of the sun. There are 13 moon cycles. They're called tones. There are 20 sun cycles called just solar tones, solar frequencies. And what you do is you combine these frequencies and these tones on a grid that is 13 columns wide and 20 columns high. Let me show you what that grid looks like here. It's called the Zulkin. And you've got 13 rows, or 13 columns. The middle column in between is like a vortex, a balancing point that everything revolves around and is part of, but everything within this also revolves within itself as well. So it's kind of a living, breathing system. Anyway, the way it works is you take one of the 13 and you take one of the 20, you add them together, or you put them together in a combination, and every day it moves one forward. So today we are on a galactic day. That's the 8th tone. Yesterday we were at the 7th tone. Tomorrow we'll be at the 9th tone. Each one of these tones progresses from 1 all the way to 13, and they gain power energetically, and at the 13th tone they jump off to the next 13 steps, and each one of those 13 steps is called a wave spell. So we're in a wave spell. We're on the 8th day of the wave spell. We're on a symbol which is called the blue monkey. And this is the 11th symbol out of the 20 symbols. And again, these progress. So tomorrow will be the 12th symbol, and then the 13th symbol, and so on. And every day also has one symbol that is a guide. And the guide for today is the eagle. The guide is always the same color as the day. And one other thing, there's 4 colors: red, white, blue, yellow. And these colors are initiation, refinement, transformation, and ripening. And these colors go one after another as well until a certain point there's a 5th color that's added in, a green color, which is kind of hidden behind everything and is working through and as everything else is working. Anyway, blue galactic monkey guided by the eagle, that is the name for today. Blue is transformation. The galactic tone is called the galactic tone of integrity. The monkey is all about playing, and the eagle is all about vision. So today, the phrase is, I harmonize in order to play, modeling illusion. I seal the process of magic with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of vision. I am a galactic activation portal. Enter me. And on the Gregorian calendar, today is Tuesday, May 24th, 2011. So that kind of gives you a little bit of insight of what this dream spell 13 moon calendar is all about. If you have any questions, send in firstcontactradio@yahoo.com. But I'll do some more shows on this. We've done shows in the past, but I'll do some more just to kind of up to date you on what's going on with it. Now, as we do each and every day, we always go to the cosmic news with our very own Dirk Bradshaw, and well, today is no different. So Dirk, cosmic news, buddy, over to you.
Next up on the Cosmic News Network, the Cosmic News with Dirk Bradshaw.
Hello there, this is the internet for freeandla.com. You know, I had the choice to move anywhere in the world, and I chose Los Angeles. Mostly for the women, but also for the weather. I mean, it is the middle of February. In most places, people are up to their eyeballs in snow, and today it was 85. And on days like this, the first thing I do is access freeandla.com. I will either go to a specific date, or go to the world-famous Free Everyday button, and waymo bamo, something to do, and not just one thing. Try 3,000 things free to do in Los Angeles. freeandla.com, one of the few things I'm proud is in me.
Flying high above the planet Earth, this is the Cosmic News with Dirk Bradshaw.
It's gonna be a long, long time. Touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the best man they think I am at home. Oh no, oh I'm a rocket man, rocket man.
Hey there, boys and girls, children of all ages, you know what time it is. It's Cosmic News Time with Dirk Bradshaw. And tonight, in some ways, Jacob Barnett is just like any other 12-year-old kid. He plays Guitar Hero, shoots hoops with his friends, he even has a platonic girlfriend. But in other ways, he's just a little different. Jake, who has an IQ of 170, began solving 5,000-piece jigsaw puzzles by the age of 3. Not long after that, he had been diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, a mild form of autism. A few years later, he taught himself calculus, algebra, and geometry in 2 weeks. By 8, he had left high school and is currently taking college-level advanced astrophysics classes while tutoring his older classmates. And he's being recruited for a paid researcher job by Indiana University. Now, he's at work on a theory that challenges the Big Bang, the prevailing explanation among scientists for how the universe came about. It's not clear how developed it is, but experts say he's on the right track. So tonight, we take a look at Jake Barnett. Could he possibly be the next Albert Einstein?
Hello, I am Jacob Barnett, here to discuss some topics from Calculus 2. Most people like to do back-of-the-envelope calculations, but what I'm about to do is not going to be the size of a typical envelope, so I'm going to do back-of-the-house calculations. I am using my back window. My dog Igor is outside right now, so you might see him wandering around. He's right over there behind the fence. Kind of hard to see from right now, but he'll walk over. So we have Igor, we have the window, and we have the back-of-the-house calculations. Now, instead of using my whiteboard, I'm going to use this because my whiteboard's got a bunch of theories on it. So today, we're going to do techniques of integration. We're going to do integration by parts. And then later, we'll do trig substitutions, trig integrals, and partial fractions. So let's start with integration by parts. And don't worry, I am here to help you with all your math phobias. So we have integration by parts. I can go back to calculus 1 and say d by dx of f of x times g of x equals f of x times g prime of x plus f prime of x g of x. I can take the integral of both sides, so I get f of x times g of x equals integral f of x g prime of x dx plus integral f prime of x g of x dx. I subtract this integral from the other side, so then I can get the integral of f of x times g prime of x dx equals f of x g of x minus integral of f prime of x g of x dx. So this is what we call integration by parts. Now, this is really long, so Leibniz introduced a new terminology. He said we call one function u. That's not a u, that's okay. So there we have our one function being u, and our next function is dv. And then this becomes f of x, and this becomes g prime of x in our equation. So then we can replace this with integral of u dv equals f of x g of x minus integral f prime of x g of, I'm supposed to be putting this in the uv term. Sorry. I go to my UV term, I call it UV, minus integral of du times v, which is often called v du. So this is a lot less messy, so we often use this terminology. This is good for, I'm going to use a couple of samples of integrals which we won't be able to solve from u substitution, but we can if we use this terminology. So first we're going to take the integral of x times the cosine of x dx. Now this is fairly straightforward. We try to find a u and a dv such that this integral becomes simpler. So if I have u here, then I end up with a du in this integral. So I can make this du be 1 if I make x u. So I'm going to call x u, and then cosine x equals dv. Well, cosine x dx. So then I have du equals, I will have dx. Now, the reason I'm throwing in these dx's at the end of these terms, it's just for making this integral a little bit easier to understand, because here we would originally have du by dx equals 1, and then dv by dx equals cosine x, so I'm just multiplying to the other side. So in here, I have v equals the integral of the cosine x, which is the sine x, dx. No more dx. Dx goes away. So now we have that. I can now simplify this. We have the integral of cosine x dx equals u times v, so this is x sine x, minus integral of v du, which is sine x times dx. This ends up being x sine x minus cosine x. Let me just check my work. I used an example from the book. Yep, that's it. Okay, and then we also have plus constant of integration. So that's how we would solve an integral like that. Okay, so are you seeing how to do this? We can take the next integral of natural logarithm of x dx. This is my next integral. Now for here, we don't really have much of a choice, because let's say I call u dx. Then du, it's not really anything simple. So I'm going to call dv dx, dv equal dx, and then I say u equals natural logarithm of x. So then I have du equals 1 divided by x. And then I have v equals x. So now I have uv, which is this one times this one, x natural logarithm of x minus integral x, forgot my dx, times 1 by x dx. This equals, I'm going to put a little slashing mark so you don't get that confused, x natural logarithm of x minus integral of dx. Integral of dx, as you should know, is x. This equals x natural logarithm of x minus x. That's how you do something like that. So integration by parts, it's going to make, if I have two different integrals, really easy to do. So now, I am going to take the case where I have the integral of x times e to the x dx. Oh, forgot a plus c. Always remember to put in your plus c, otherwise you'll lose like a point on a quiz or something. So you got integral x times e to the x dx. Well, e to the x squared. E to the x is pretty straightforward. So I can remember our u substitution, and instead of having to do integration by parts, I have du by dx equals, I make u equal to x squared, du by dx equals x, then dx equals du divided by x. I can just factor some stuff out. In this, I forgot a 2. So this becomes du divided by 2x. This becomes 1/2 integral of e to the u du. I could have done integration by parts for x e to the x squared, but it's easier to do u substitution, so always watch out for u substitution. You can do integration by parts in a lot of scenarios, but you might want to watch out for this u substitution. Okay, so I'm going to finish this integral, and then we will continue on with trigonometric integrals next time. This integral becomes 1/2 e to the u plus c, very obviously. This becomes 1/2 e to the x squared plus c. Thank you for watching. I am going to do trigonometric integrals next time.
Oh, man, I can't believe it's over. Where does the time go? Well, I see the fat lady's off the stage. She's looking right at me. It's time for me to go put her to bed. I hate goodbyes. So instead I'm going to say, until we meet again, I'm Dirk Bradshaw for the Cosmic News. Wake up.
Next up on the Cosmic News
What
Network.
if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of people.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw a UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing. What they're losing from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? Must be turning in their graves. Redcoats are coming, Big Brother's watching. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. One if by land and two if by sea, and I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right. right, Dirk, thank you very much. This is the UFO news for today. So let's see what we've got out here. First story we're going to go to this. We touched on this the other day, and there's some good sightings here if you want to check this out. It's called latest-UFO-sightings.net. This one here says National Geographic plans show on aliens. We touched on this yesterday. The National Geographic Channel is planning to present a show called When Aliens Attack. The premise of the show is that if aliens were to come to Earth with aggressive intent, do we have a plan to react? What's that plan? What might it involve, and what the plan should involve? Of course, the first assumption the show must address is the existence of aliens. On this point, there are a number of individuals who are both involved in the research for extraterrestrial life and who are well versed in many aspects of the research who are very interested. One of the interested people, Dr. Seth Shostak, is a senior astronomer for SETI. He says that he strongly believes that there are aliens in the universe. Otherwise, he would not be doing the job that he does. He talks about the number of stars that have planets like Earth and the Kepler satellite that NASA is using to evaluate this number. He expects that there may be up to about 50 billion stars like that in our galaxy alone. Dr. Shostak goes on to say that the miracle would be for there to be absolutely no other life in the universe, if only because of the sheer number of planets that could support life. He further believes that if aliens were to come to Earth, that they would be hostile, if not to begin with, and then would end up hostile because we as humans react violently to invaders. Another interested person, John Ringo, who has written a number of books on the invasion, adds to the Shostak's thoughts on hostility. He says that even if they do not have a hostile intention, that a new culture tends to always damage the old cultures. So we should be ready for a situation where alien culture tries to change ours. Ringo also adds that we should be ready, and that doesn't mean it will happen tomorrow. Dr. Travis Taylor, who is with the U.S. Space and Missile Command Department and has worked with the Department of Defense and NASA for over 20 years, says that there is no way to know whether alien contact will be hostile or not. But that's as much as we can hope for. Peaceful contact, that peace isn't something we have to be ready for. He says that what we need to be prepared for is hostility, just in case. Dr. Taylor also agreed Shostak with the idea that there are very likely aliens in the universe. There is no way to know if we will ever have contact. First contact, right here. You're having contact now. And guess what? Not hostile. Not here to fight anybody. And I know a lot of others down here who aren't looking to fight with anybody either. And those coming down here, well, they don't want to fight with you either. But your military and your government of this planet, well, they want to fight. And they want to pick fights with aliens. That's why whenever you see videos, you always see them shooting at the craft, but you never see the craft shooting back. Oh, silly humans. Alright, moving on. This is some footage, and this link is up at our YouTube channel there, or at our First Contact Radio site, and this is a sighting in Amsterdam on the 21st. You can see, okay, there we go. Looks like we got 1, 2 orbs in the sky. And as the video progresses, it's like a 6-minute video. They close up on one. Okay, yeah, so if go to our firstcontactradio.com UFO news on the right-hand side, and there's a link for this story, and you'll be able to read and find the video there as well. Now, during the spacewalk on May 22nd, there's also footage out there of a possible UFO in the background. Well, not possible, it's definitely a UFO. It's unidentified, and it is in the background right as you begin to play. I'm going to go ahead and let this play here. You can see it behind me. Right as it gets into the video. And you can see it in the upper right hand corner here. The maker of the video who put this up there, someone even circled it. And you can just see it right there in the back the whole time. And of course, various different tests that were done to check to see what it was. And all right, I cut away from the exterior shot, obviously because something was out there, and the rest of the shots are all not pointed in that direction because they don't want you to know that there's space beings out there in space. How about that, huh? All right, here's another one. NASA image, Earth-sized spherical objects inside Corona Sun, May 2011. Salta, Argentina, 2/5/2011, or 5/22/2011, California, and Carlsbad. So let's see what we have here. All right. I'm just going to zip through because this one's... Alright, let's see here. There we go. Alright, we got an image up there in the sky. Some strange looking thing. Oh yeah, a little close up on it. Has some symmetry to it. You see the various light patterns it makes. There's almost a shape to it, somewhat triangular. There's a definite triangular shape right there. Alright. And a good daytime shot of it. This must be the shot over California. Alright. Oh, very good. Well, if you go to our channel, our YouTube channel, actually, yeah, YouTube channel, you'll find this video up there as well. And you can follow the link to the YouTube channel owner and any other videos he might have. And let's see here. Here, 10 Nibiru-like floating planets found by astronomers.
That are not orbiting stars. Some scientists have suggested the existence of such free-floating planets in space. The team, which includes researchers from Japan's Nagoya and Osaka universities, says it has discovered 10 such suspected floating planets. The planets each have a mass approximately equivalent to that of Jupiter. The discoveries were made over 18 months, starting in April of 2006, using a special telescope at an observatory in New Zealand. The researchers say the discovered celestial bodies must be floating planets because, unlike fixed stars, they do not emit light. They say they found no fixed stars near these planets.
The discoveries are a step toward learning how planets were created and how they develop.
Some scientists expect that a NASA surveyor to be launched in 2020 will be able to capture images of these floating planets.
All right, floating planets. Floating planets. You know, planets would float, don't they, out in space? I mean, they just kind of hang there. What else are they going to do, huh? Okay, you can find this story and more at our channel, and I believe that's what we have for today for the UFO news. That is correct. Okay, so let me jump to a song, and when I get back, we've got some more news about current events in the world today. I'll be back.
Headline edition, July 8th, 1947.
One day, I was looking to the sky. I saw it. Up above the clouds, it was a silver shiny disc floating high above the ground. Then I saw them waving to me. It was E.T. and his family. Something happened up the straight from the ground. Through the sky and shot the UFOs down. Roswell, he didn't make it home. Roswell, he didn't make it home.
The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
One day, I was looking to the sky. I saw a UFO shot down. It was a silver shining disc, broken in pieces on the ground. Then I saw them lying there, bodies scattered everywhere. Some big havoc, a military show, picked up the pieces and the case was closed. Roswell, he didn't make it home. Roswell, he didn't make it home.
Army officers say the missile found sometime last week has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio.
One day, as I was looking to the sky, I began to think for myself, what if another ship comes down to take E.T. home? Then it occurred to me, maybe this is Earth's destiny. Something like this won't happen anymore. No more missiles, no more UFOs down. Roswell, he didn't make it home. Roswell, he didn't make it home.
Headline Edition will bring you special reports and interviews in a moment. Headline Edition, July 8th, 1947.
All right, everybody, I am back. How you doing? First Contact Radio, that's the place where you can catch us Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right, so let's do a little review here. Yesterday I went over our list of the 5 different areas where we need to be paying attention to things. First of all was Howard Camping and his rapture. Second was the FEMA NLE, which involves earthquakes and floods and tornadoes. Next we have Comet Elenin with the UFOs possibly behind it. Then we have the Transformers blowing up and what we are told was a UFO attack in Fort Worth. And then of course is the concern now about the nuclear challenges that might be faced along the Mississippi River and the nuclear plants there and the possibility of a false flag incident, all coming on the heels of the announcement that bin Laden, who has been reported dead 9 times, this time apparently really is dead. And so people were excited, they jumped and they cheered, and now other countries saying that they're going to come over here and they're going to terrorize us because we now know that this long-time dead person is told they're dead again, and so people are supposed to get excited about that, I guess. I don't quite understand that one. How do not people don't read? People don't go and just find out that there's all kind of intelligence relating back to this man's death up to 9 years ago? You know, back to 2001. I mean, it's 9 reports at least. People need to pay more attention, but they don't want to because they're only told what's on the mainstream, and that's the problem. The mainstream is not addressing the issue. All right, let's look at these things here. First thing, the rapture. Well, as I said the other day, I believe that something did happen spiritually, and that the earthquake did happen in New Zealand, which was the first place he said something would happen, though nobody disappeared off the planet. I do feel that there was something that took place and that Harold Camping wasn't completely wrong in what he had to say. He just maybe didn't fully understand. And now in here, in his own words, is Harold Camping to tell you exactly what he sees as things move forward now. All right, let me...
God would return here. We were convinced that on May 21, our God would return here in a very physical way, that is, by bringing a great earthquake and by ushering in the final 5 months of the Day of Judgment. And the fact is, when we look at it spiritually, then we find He did come. He did come. Now, Now let me back up. The fact is, you're going to find out that I'm going to be saying there's not a new date. There's not a new date. We've already been talking again and again about the end of the world being October 21 in 2011. October 21. But we have not emphasized that because the first down payment, or the beginning of it, was the fact that we would see all of these things happening and usher into a 5-month period of very, very terrible time.
Are you willing to publicly apologize for what you said about May 21, the character? For your mistake.
I can, if people want me to apologize, I can apologize. Yes, I did not have all of that worked out as accurately as I should have, or I wish I could have had it. That doesn't bother me at all, because I'm not a genius, and I pray all the time for wisdom, and when I make an error, then I say, yes, I was wrong. I have said that already more than several times tonight. I was wrong. It was to be understood spiritually, not physically, and yet the sense of it is still the same, that judgment has come. The world is now under judgment where it was not prior to May 21. Spiritually, there's a big difference in the world that we can't detect it all with our eyes, but we can know from the Bible.
Okay, so Howard Camping revives what he has to say. What do you think about that? I think that's pretty good. You know, he's persistent. He's moving on, and if that's what the word in the Bible is, and that's what's going down, I could understand how he wouldn't be upset if people, didn't understand him moving on. He's seems to be a man of God. Seemed to be shaken by what he said, and he made a mistake. I believe that something did happen that day spiritually. I said that the other day, and I've been saying it for a while, that what is going on in the world are spiritual events that have a physical outer appearance because we are living in a physical world. But if you step behind that physical appearance and you begin to understand that the book of Revelation talked about a spiritual battle. The other books of prophecy out there talk about spiritual battles. Therefore, we need to go to the place where the Spirit resides to find out about that spiritual battle that's taking place that these books keep talking about. So, in that regard, I think that's important. And October 21st, he did state that date before. We are having problems in the world, and we'll see how that one plays itself out. So, on our list here, we look at the rapture, and we see his. So now that's been revised. On the FEMA NLE, that exercise is over, but they are still having floods, and they are still having little mini earthquakes, and of course, the tornadoes. Now, these tornadoes that were going on, I'm sure you all saw the footage yesterday of the tornadoes that were hitting there in Joplin. And pretty amazing when they showed the people out there how they really were coming together. And they kept showing over and over the footage of those people that were, I believe it was in some sort of a refrigerated area in a convenience store. And they were riding out this hurricane. And I tell you, it was just amazing that in the midst of hearing all of this whooshing of the wind, and it just as violent and angry as it was, that in the midst of this you hear the voice of a woman calling out to Jesus and to God, and that's pretty amazing that in that moment, that's where the people went. You hear people telling each other they love each other, and the storm passed them by. The storm passed them by in the midst of all of that. So I would say that each one of them, they went through their own personal rapture during that experience, being in the midst of a tornado like that. So spirit is very important. We need to go to the spirit. We need to find out what it is that we need to do with the spirit, because that's how we're going to solve these problems. The physical isn't. Physical just puts might up against might, and there's too many challenges and problems with that. You got to go to a place where everybody's on even playing field, and that's in the spirits realm. Now, HARP is something that I've noticed more people are paying attention to. When you go online and you look up HARP, you see that there's a lot more interest these days than there have been. It's picking up because people are looking at the weather and they're seeing strange patterns. One of the things I noticed over and over as I was flipping through the different stations the other day looking at the reports of what was going on was all these reporters and people saying they've never seen anything like this. This storm was different than what they have seen before. This tornado started small. They didn't think it was going to be anything, and then it just expanded. More people are tuning in to the weather and realizing there's something crazy going on. Is this weather part of the judgment of God that is bringing all this weather down upon the earth? Or is this weather being brought upon us by science gone awry? That's a possibility because they have been experimenting with these weather weapons, these weather modification programs, and those are causing all sorts of problems. And we still have Comet Ellen, and that hasn't, we don't know what's going on there yet, but we could see we're still dealing with issues, of these 5 issues. If you do some exploration about nuclear concerns along the Mississippi, you're going to find that that is a concern now. And nuclear issues were brought up into the question before it ever got mentioned. I don't even know if they're even mentioning this on mainstream yet, but it's been a talk amongst conspiracy circles for a while, and the possibility of a false flag on American soil involving something nuclear, and then wanting to blame it on another country. So this has been out there. So it's not a surprise to hear suddenly that there's this nuclear concern, because those who have been paying attention kind of knew that it was coming, that was the next card they were going to play. If we go over to YouTube, we just want to turn your attention to a couple of videos you might want to check out. This is at our YouTube channel. This guy goes by Omara Nick. He has a video there. It's about 9 minutes long. He's talking about the concerns of the New Madrid fault, and he's talking about the concerns that people are that there is in the world because the mainstream media is not doing its part to keep people informed. So I think it's a good point of view that he has here, and it's a bit lengthy, so I don't want to play it right now, but I encourage you to go to our YouTube channel, and you will be able to find that. It'll be on our playlist for today's show when I'm all done with everything here, and you can check that out. Here, and also, we've got this volcanic ash, which is now... Well, we're going to let that kind of go on for a minute here. Another thing I'm kind of curious about is... Oh, here we go. Get past our commercial.
Causing disruption to European air travel once again, a year after millions were stranded when planes were grounded for days. The present burst of ash did force U.S. President Barack Obama to come to London early, cutting short his stay in Ireland, and it triggered the cancellation of hundreds of flights in Scandinavia and northern parts of Britain. But the head of network operations at Eurocontrol, Brian Flynn, says up to this point it's not as big a problem as it was last time around.
It's quite a small area if we compare it with last year. It's about 1/4 of the sort of same area that would have been closed at the same time last year, the same stage of development of the volcano.
Still, that's not much consolation for the crowds of would-be passengers unable to fly from Scotland Tuesday, even if they were philosophical about the change in plans.
Now we are getting a bus to Newcastle to hope we get a flight there.
You can't do that much. You have to stay and keep calm. It doesn't really annoy me. I mean, if I get there in one piece, that's all.
Britain's Transport Secretary says there have been modest delays to flights crossing the Atlantic as aircraft need to avoid areas of high ash concentration. But when it comes to predictions for what happens next, carriers and passengers are bracing themselves for days of uncertainty and chaos. Budget airline Ryanair is already arguing, with Irish aviation authorities complaining there's no need to cancel flights. Karen Sloan, The Associated Press.
All right, I thought I heard somewhere that it's been like 140 years, something to that degree, effect that it's been since this volcano has gone off, so they don't fully know what's going to happen with it. A lot of these events taking place, they don't know what's going to happen with them, but they're all happening. We need to pay attention, and they seem to be escalating. Um, I was checking up to see what kind of updates we might have from Dutch since, but he doesn't have anything up there at the moment. From what I understand, he's out there in the St. Louis area, so hopefully he didn't get targeted with any earthquakes or crazy weather coming out that way, because they certainly seem to have their handful of it yesterday. So let's hope all is well with him in his world. Over here at InfoWars, we got an interesting story that it's about Disneyland. Star Wars ride gets its own TSA checkpoint. Tell me what you think of this. A Star Wars ride at Disneyland, Disney World in Orlando, has been equipped with a TSA-style checkpoint, complete with naked body scanners and Arthurian security agents. Of course, it's a joke. The scanners are not real. However, critics contend that the move represents a normalization of grossly invasive security theater. Thrill seekers entering the newly reopened Star Tours Star Wars Simulator ride will now find themselves in a security line simulator of that any airport across the country. Disney update states, the second room of the queue is now a security check area, similar to a TSA checkpoint. The two G-Series droids are still there, G2-9T scanning luggage and G2-4T scanning passengers. While we won't tell you why, you'll enjoy paying a lot of attention to what the scans of the luggage show inside. It gets better. Disney wants your experience to be as close to a real trip to the airport as it can be. When it's your turn to go through the passenger scan, a thermal body scan, you may be verbally accosted by a security droid. Also keep an eye out for the queue of the earlier version RX-24 from the original Star Tours. He's labeled defective and has some familiar dialogue. Perhaps Disney should consider a full-body grope downs for 6-year-old children and inspections for inside babies' diapers just to boost the reality level. Perhaps such procedures could be carried out by Imperial stormtroopers. Perhaps Disney should also carry fake reports on how secure their systems are and routinely allow bombs and guns through the checkpoint. Well, there's more to this article. You can find it in InfoWars. I think that's kind of ridiculous that they do this. Again, it is to normalize society. They put these things out at a park. People aren't going to go and protest this ride once they get to the park. They're going to go and they're going to enjoy. They're going to do what they do when they go to an amusement park. So it's kind of underhanded that Disney would do something like that. But then again, Disney has been known to do underhanded things before. So it's not really a surprise that they would do something underhanded again, is it? And now we're going to move on to this story here. Corsi to file criminal charges against White House over Obama birth certificate. This is at InfoWars. Jerome Corsi has told a Cincinnati radio station he's preparing to file criminal charges against the White House for producing a fraudulent birth certificate as the controversial author of Where's the Birth Certificate closes in on the people with Obama in a circle he claims behind the hoax. We believe the birth records released by Barack Obama on the April 27th, the so-called long-form birth certificate, is fraudulent, Corsi told the radio host Bill Cunningham. I'm working on filing criminal charges on the White House. I think there will be criminal charges filed very soon for having fraudulently produced a birth certificate, said Corsi, adding that he would seek an FBI investigation. Corsi reaffirmed the fact that he was close to identifying the individual played a key role in forging the birth certificate, as well as the source document which the White House used to create the composite fake. According to the birther report, the Clear Channel radio station on which Corsi appeared, 700 WLW, later scrubbed the interview from the audio archives, a claim that was also carried by WorldNet Daily. The YouTube video above was made by a listener. Clear Channel was also behind the removal of a billboard that was part of a WorldNet Daily campaign that brings media to the birther issue in the November 2009. As reported yesterday, Corsi is closing in on the people with Obama's inner circle who was responsible for creating the fraudulent document that was released by the White House in electronic format that contains a plethora of errors and clear evidence of manipulation. I'm pretty well on the trail of linking the characteristics of this document to someone who's going to have a lot of explaining to do, said Corsi, adding that he was hot on the trail, one of the individual who may have had a hand in this, and his identity will be released this week. In a new development, WND reports that Obama's Social Security number was issued in Connecticut, a state where he never lived. The first three letters of Obama's Social Security are 042. That code falls within the range between of the numbers for Connecticut, which according to the Social Security Administration has been 040 through 049. There's obviously a case of fraud going on here, says Ohio licensed private investigator Susan Daniels. In 15 years of having a private investigator's license in Ohio, I've never seen the Social Security Administration make a mistake of issuing a Connecticut Social Security number to a person who lived in Hawaii. There is no family connection that would appear to explain this anomaly. Daniels said that Obama decided to hide his identity in the 80s by taking a Social Security number he couldn't possibly have acquired without breaking the law. Well, there is a video up here at YouTube. I'm going to make sure this is added to the playlist because you're going to want to watch this whole thing. It's about 18 minutes long, a little longer than we have time for right now. But it is amazing that this goes on. I mean, we have a president in the United States who, in the Bible, the translations of Jesus, lightning from the heights, translates to Barack Obama. Therefore, the words of Jesus that he saw Satan, Barack Obama. We have a president who has alleged CIA connections, lied about his birth, has provided a fake birth certificate, and has a Social Security number from a state where he never was born. Yet this man still remains in office. Why haven't Americans gone and dragged him out of office into jail? Oh, that's right. He's not in the country at the moment because there are all these natural disasters, apparently HARP-related, that are going on. So this is a perfect time for a big chicken shit like him to leave the country. That's right, Obama. You heard me. I think you're a big chicken. You go out, you talk a big game, but when it comes down to it, you don't have any power to do anything. So that is a chicken. And if you want to prove the people wrong, then stand up and do the right thing. Tell people where you really were born. Present a Social Security number that's not from a state you didn't live in. And oh yeah, quit going and fighting all the wars you're fighting, because that seems to be a pretty dark, evil thing to do as well. All the people that are getting killed because of that, it's not right. Not right at all, sir. Not right at all. And when you stop being a chicken, you might actually be a man. So try that for a change, won't you? See what happens. People in America might like you a little better. But then again, maybe not. Either way, you should still be impeached. That's my humble opinion anyway. And what else we've got here? I believe that kind of catches us up to speed in all the news and everything for today. So where are we going? Where is this all heading? Well, they still are having weather issues in the Midwest. Let's take a quick look at the Intellicast and see what's going on out there. Okay. Let's kind of get our own personal look here. Alright. Well, it looks like things have lightened up down there in the Joplin area. And down here, it looks like in Kentucky they're getting some crazy weather. And out here, just east of Kansas City, out there a little bit south of Omaha, we're going to have some crazy weather. And you know, if you haven't gone to Intellicast, check it out periodically. INTELLICAST.com. They've got this really cool weather map. You can check it out. You can watch the radar. You can watch the cloud formations. You can see whether that's, you know, fire weather, all kind of stuff. And it's a pretty good way to kind of keep track of what's going on. And if you pay attention to this, what you do is you go down and they have a little section down here. I don't want that one. I want this one here. Alright, you go down here and you just play the loop, and it will play the last hour loop of radar that went along. or clouds, whatever you're looking at. And you can just set it at different speeds. You can set it at medium speed, a fast speed, and just watch. And as people are watching this, they're noticing different patterns. You'll notice all of a sudden there'll be this circle which will pop up out of nowhere. It'll show up and then disappear. Or you'll see patterns that will show up that are square patterns. Or occasionally you'll see a triangle pattern just by watching this. It takes time, it's boring, but you can see things in here. And what some of these researchers are finding online is as they're following and tracing these patterns on here, they're starting to see that these are centers of storms. Now I know that there are those out there who are saying there are no such thing as harp rings and that it's misinformation. I don't know. I just know that as I've been looking and following along with where someone like Dutch Since is pointing out these different rings and the central points, I am just watching storms come about in those areas. And there seems to be some validity. Maybe it's not 100%, but there is something there that we need to be considering because the weather is getting bad in the areas where these things are happening. So, all this being said, this brings us to the end of another show. So as we close things out for today, what I would like you to do is just to simply take a moment where you are, take a deep breath, exhale it out, think about your day, think about what it is you want to do today, think about what you need to do, and set yourself a course for today. Imagine the end of the day. And if you're listening to this and it's nighttime for you, then imagine the next morning. But imagine a distance out there and imagine yourself moving smoothly and easily from where you are now to the end of this day. And whatever obstacles are in your way, know that you can move around them. You can navigate through the problems that are going on today just by paying attention and being aware. So let's imagine ourselves, my friends. Just close your eyes for a minute and just imagine that you are filled with awareness, that over the course of the day, my friends, that you will be aware of all the circumstances that are taking place in your life, that you will pay attention to the events of the world and understand what intuitively is going on, to understand what is spiritually going on the planet right now. And that love and light will help us all. Let's imagine sending love and light around the planet right now to all the places of the world that are filled with problems and challenges. Just send a ray of love, a ray of light. Know that it is being sent around the world from everyone listening to this. And everyone is doing so. It is providing healing. It is providing a good vibe. So let's just keep sending the good vibes around because that's what we need. Good vibes around the planet to make everything better. And simply just now bring your energy and tension back to the present moment. And as you do, I just want you to imagine a good thought for today. Think of a good thought that's going to carry you through your day. And see if you can just use that thought over the course of the day to stay on track, to stay focused. Perhaps it's a thought of love. Perhaps it's a thought of success. Perhaps it's a thought of ease, comfort. Pick a word, pick an idea, pick a thought, and see if you can follow it through on a through line through today. See where your day goes if you do something like that. Hey, it's an experiment. Give it a try, see what it does. And that, my friends, that brings us to the end. So bring your energy and attention back to the present moment, all focused back in. For we're done here now, and it's time for you to get on with your day. As you go out there in the world, all I could say is just pay attention. Be safe and have fun. There's a lot of craziness in the world. We are at a time where paying attention is very crucial. Pay attention to the weather. Go online. Check it out for yourself. You'll see what I mean. For Dirk Bradshaw, my name's Josh Poet. I'll be back again tomorrow. It's been a pleasure. Until then, you have a great day. Peace. I'm out of here.